In our last class, after the apostles were sent out on their mission, remember they returned because John the Baptist was beheaded. So now we continue in this class, number 24. Its title is The Beheading of John the Baptist. So they gathered together. Our scriptures for today is Matthew chapter 14 and Mark chapter 6, Luke chapter 9. Remember, follow along in the text that accompanies each video so that you can see the exact verses that are being covered. So let's begin. It was not the custom of the Jews to celebrate their birthday. Okay, interesting. But imitating the Eastern kings, Herod once made a great feast on the occasion of his birth. Salome, the daughter of Herod's concubine Herodias, entered the feasting and began to dance. She so inflamed Herod, who was already drunk, that he promised with an oath to give her everything or anything she asked for. Salome went out and asked her mother what to ask for, and she answered, the head of John the Baptist. Because why? Because they both hated him, for he rebuked Herod for his illegal marriage. But fearing that Herod's promise to execute John would not be fulfilled, since Herod, on the other hand, was afraid of the people, so Herod, on the one hand, was afraid of the people, and on the other, he himself respected John as a righteous and holy man, and even did many things obeying him and listened to him with pleasure. That's found in Mark chapter 6, verse 20. But she inspired her daughter to demand the immediate death of the prophet, and even gave her a dish on which the head of the murdered man was to be brought to her. She exactly fulfilled this wish of her mother. The king was saddened by this demand, but he didn't want to be ashamed because of his oath, so he sent a bodyguard who cut off John's head and brought it on a platter to the king. Now the legend says that Herodias mocked John's head for some time, pricking his tongue with a needle, and then ordered his body to be thrown into a ravine. The disciples of John then took his headless body and laid it in the tomb. Then they announced what had happened to the Lord. They told Jesus what happened after they laid his body in the tomb. Evangelist Mark reports that at the same time the apostles gathered to Jesus, telling him about everything they had done on their mission, just like we said in our last lesson. Having heard about the violent death of the Baptist, the Lord withdrew to a deserted place with his apostles, and Herod, influenced by the talk that Jesus Christ is John who rose from the dead, sought to see him. So they thought that Jesus was John risen from the dead. So he wanted to check. Sought to see him means he wanted to check to see if it was him or not. Herod later got a worthy retribution. After his defeat in the war, he was deprived of all his possessions by Romans and put in jail in Gaul, where he died together with the wicked Herodias. Salome went out one winter, this is what happened to her, went out one winter to the river. The ice broke under her feet, and she plunged into the water up to her head, which was wiped off by the ice flows. My goodness. So retribution. Finally, it catches up to everyone, wherever we may go in the whole world, it catches up. The beheading, in conclusion, the beheading of John the Baptist is commemorated by the Holy Church on August 29 or September 11 with a strict fast. St. John the Baptist, pray for us. And this concludes our lesson on the beheading of John the Baptist. See you in the next class. God bless.